Triad MLS rules, regulations, compliance, policy, and fee schedule. This video is designed to help you stay on the right track. How does a Realtor North Carolina licensee, North Carolina licensed appraiser, and unlicensed assistants gain access to the Triad MLS matrix system? By having membership with one of these associations: the Greensboro Regional Realtor Association, High Point Regional Association of Realtors, or Winston-Salem Regional Association of Realtors. Before you can begin using the matrix system, a terms of service agreement must be entered into between you, the participant or subscriber, and Triad MLS. This agreement appeared the first time you accessed Matrix, and it's only by clicking I agree that you were allowed to use the service. Included in the terms of service agreement in 2B, Triad MLS rules states in part that you shall comply with Triad MLS rules at all times. There's also a terms of service agreement between each association and Triad MLS. Triad MLS has had rules and regulations since its incorporation in 1990. To access this document in Matrix, use Help in the responsive menu bar, and it is your responsibility to read this very important document. Are all Triad MLS rules enforceable? Yes. Addendum A of the Rules and Regulations is the common compliance policy, including the fee schedule, and this policy was adopted by the Triad MLS Board of Directors and went into full effect January 1 of 2021. The purpose of this policy is to ensure the integrity of the MLS, including accuracy of data. Violations will be processed in accordance with the policy. Compliance enforcement will be performed subject to the service agreement between Triad MLS and the associations. The fee schedule lists each category with the fines associated with each violation. The staff that oversees implementation of the policy is called Compliance Department. Staff in these departments do not have any authority in setting policy, interpreting policy, or overriding violations. When fines are issued, the appropriate association bills their member and collects the fines. Violation appeals as well as hearings are also handled by the associations. Who is your compliance department? Well, who do you pay your MLS fee to? If GRRA, the GRRA staff will be your compliance department. Those paying WSRAR or HPRAR, Triad MLS staff, is the compliance department. Compliance not only means abiding by all Triad MLS rules, but also submitting any requested documentation within 2 business days of receiving the request. Listing Data Checker, LDC, is the automated system that issues notifications, and there are 3 types of notifications. Courtesy notices. These notices inform the listing agent that a potential rule has been reported. For example, a showing agent reports that the listing agent has advertised in the MLS 4 bedrooms. However, upon showing the property, they only found 2 bedrooms. LDC will send a courtesy notice to the listing agent, included what has been reported, which would be a violation of Rule Section 1.2.0, accuracy of data. Now, this is in the hands of the listing agent to double check what they have entered into the MLS. There are also fine and correctable notices, which will give the listing agent a grace period of 1 business day to make necessary corrections. Fine and uncorrectable notices, these have no grace period, and the fines will be automatic. LDC notices look like this. When received, agents should be reading the entire email. There are 3 violation categories listed in the Common Compliance Policy. Category 1 violations relate to listing information provided by a participant or a subscriber. Specifically addressed, 1.2 details on properties entered into the MLS, and Section 1.2.1 untimely status changes. Section 1.2, prohibited items displayed. Well, what's prohibited? Names, phone numbers, email addresses, or website addresses, including use of embedded, overlaid, or digitally stamped information. References to any websites, hyperlinks of any kind. Where is this branding information prohibited? Listing photos and virtual tours. This includes signage of any kind, superimposed branding, and embedded data. This is also prohibited in the public remarks and the directions data fields. Why the restrictions? Photos, public remarks, directions, and virtual tours are included in IDX. This information appears on all participants' websites. Also appears on portals such as Realtor.com and Homes.com. And this information is included when other agents email your listing to their clients. Your competitors do not wish to help advertise you or your firm. When listing agents receive the violation category 1 related to section 1.2, there will be a 1-day grace period given, 1 business day grace period given for the prohibited items to be removed. Listing agents receiving a warning and probation for that rule the remainder of the calendar year. If the prohibited information is not removed within the 1 business day, or if the same rule is broken within that calendar year, fines will be issued according to the fee schedule found in Addendum A. Section 1.2.1, also found in Category 1, deals with untimely status changes, and this rule applies to all MLS statuses. But let's take a look at the pending choices. When must a status be changed to one of the pending choices? Well, this is determined by the effective date on the offer to purchase and contract. Joint Forms 2T Section 1G defines the effective date. When all parties have signed, initialed, dated, and acceptance has been conveyed, the offer becomes a legal and binding contract at that time. North Carolina Realtors has addressed this question. Do I have to report that my listing is under contract to the MLS before the due diligence fee is paid? And the answer is a resounding yes. And this article can be found on the North Carolina Realtors website. Triad MLS rule requires the status must be changed to one of the pending choices within 2 business days of that executed offer to purchase and contract. When must the status be changed to closed? Within 3 business days of the new deed being recorded at the courthouse. The close date is what is to be entered into the MLS for the close date. That is the date the deed was recorded. Please read carefully Section 1.2.1 of the Rules and Regulations. When listing agents receive LDC notices regarding untimely status changes, they will note that these violations are not correctable. The first notice is a warning, and the listing agent will be on probation for untimely status change the remainder of that calendar year. Upon a second untimely status change, an automatic fine will be issued according to the fee schedule. Failure to pay Category 1 fines. The associations will bill an additional $10 per month. Category 2 violations relate to submission of required listings to the MLS. Triad MLS accepts listings for all of these property types: residential, vacant land and lots, multifamily, commercial, and residential rentals. Category 2 violations apply to the mandatory property types. That's residential, including all residential new construction, multifamily, vacant lot and land. Listing agents may submit all property types anywhere they have a valid real estate license. However, mandatory property types in the service and mandatory listing area, as seen here, must be submitted in accordance with Category 2 rules. And the Triad MLS service and mandatory listing areas are Wilkes, Surrey, Yadkin, Davie, Stokes, Forsyth, Davidson, Rockingham, Guilford, and Randolph counties. Category 2 rules include those related to the mandatory National Association of Realtors Clear Cooperation Policy. All Realtor MLSs had to adopt this policy, and it's found in Triad MLS Rules, Section 1.01. Examples: when listing agents are in violation of clear cooperation, the seller authorizes on the listing agreement, office exclusive, a defined term in the NAR policy. NAR requires that these exclusive listings be filed with the listing service. In Matrix Help, Triad MLS members will find this mandatory office exclusive addendum. This must be completed with the listing agreement and filed with the listing agent's compliance department, following the directions at the top of the addendum. Those paying GRRA their MLS fee would email this addendum to compliance@grra.org, while those paying HPRAR or WSRAR would email the addendum to compliance@triadmls.com. When the seller authorizes on the listing agreement office exclusive, the seller is withholding consent for the listing to be publicly marketed in any way. NAR's policy is very clear on what is not allowed when taking office exclusive listings. So listing firms in the Triad with office exclusive listings, and they post anything about this on social media or markets in any way to the general public, host realtor luncheons inviting agents outside their office, host public open houses, or allows agents from another office to show this office exclusive listing, has violated Category 2 Clear Cooperation Policy. NAR, the North Carolina Realtor exclusive right to sell listing agreement, and Triad MLS rules state, upon any public marketing on an office exclusive listing, the listing must be submitted to the listing service within 1 business day, offering cooperation to all participants. Late listing entry, another Category 2 violation. Triad MLS Rules Section 1.0 Listing Procedures. Listing of real property of the mandatory types listed below, which are listed subject to a real estate broker's license and are located within the mandatory listing area of the multiple listing service and are taken by participants, must be submitted to the Triad MLS listing service, hereinafter called the service or MLS, by entry into the online system and notice to all participants within 1 calendar day after the latter of the effective date or the marketing date shown on the listing agreement. Listing firms using the North Carolina Realtor approved listing agreements, both 101 for residential and 103 for vacant land. This is the marketing date. The seller must submit a date in this field when they have signed the listing agreement. If the seller initials public marketing, then the listing must be submitted to any listing service you are a member. And for Triad MLS users, to avoid the late listing violation, the listing must be submitted within 1 calendar day of that marketing date. For firms that are not using the North Carolina Realtor listing agreements, Triad MLS submission rule is tied to the effective date of that listing agreement. The listing must be submitted within 1 calendar day. When a listing agent receives a Category 2 violation notice, violations are not correctable. Warning and probation for the remainder of that calendar year. Upon a second violation of the same Category 2 rule, fines will be automatic according to the fee schedule. Non-payment of a Category 2 violation and the user's MLS service will become inactive. The fee schedule found in Rules Addendum A contains the full list of fines. Category 3 violations are related to providing unauthorized access to the MLS and or its services. Category 3 violations, there are no warnings and there's no probation period. Fines are automatic. What happens when a Triad MLS user allows anyone to use their username and password to access the Matrix system? Section 9.3 has been violated, resulting in an automatic fine. Coming soon advertising is only to be used when a listing is not available for showings on the date the listing firm begins their public marketing. Coming soon facts. The seller must authorize coming soon advertising in a written listing agreement. The maximum number of days coming soon may be used in the Triad is 7 days. And the Triad MLS mandatory coming soon no-show authorization form must be completed with the listing agreement and attached. When coming soon has been authorized by the seller in the listing agreement, that listing must be submitted into the service within 1 calendar day. When entering the listing, the list market date and data entry will be the go active date found on both NCR listing agreement and in the Triad MLS coming soon authorization form. That future list market date will place this listing in the coming soon no-show status, and that status will change automatically to active on that date. How does a Triad MLS participant subscriber violate Category 3 coming soon rules? By allowing any showings or holding any open houses while using coming soon advertising. The mandatory addendum is found in Matrix Help Triad MLS Forms section. How does a showing agent violate Category 3 coming soon rule? By showing a listing that is in the coming soon no-show status. Can a Triad MLS user co-list? Yes, as long as both are subscriber participants of Triad MLS. A Category 3 rule is violated when the Triad MLS participant subscriber co-list with an agent who is not a user of Triad MLS. This is found in Section 1.17. Those who have entered into the MLS of choice waiver policy with an association and violates any of those terms or conditions will also receive a Category 3 violation notice and fine. Fines in this category are automatic, and the first is $1,000. The second is $3,000. The third results in suspension for 6 months. The user must take mandatory compliance training and attend a hearing at the association. Failure to pay Category 3 fines, and the service will be inactivated. Subscribers and participants may report potential rule violations by using the reported icon located under the primary photo of every listing. Those reporting potential violations use this text field box and submit. Please be very specific. Provide as much detail as possible when reporting potential violations. Calling to report potential rule violations is not an option. Properties that are in the MLS system, this icon must be used. Reporting potential issues regarding clear cooperation. Using Matrix Help Triad MLS Forms, you will find the potential clear cooperation violation complaint form, and this must be filed. If you pay your MLS fee with GRRA, email compliance@grra.org. Those paying their MLS fee to either WSRAR or HPRAR, email compliance@triadmls.com. Those reporting issues, your identity will be kept from all other Triad MLS subscribers and participants. Only the compliance department staff will know because they may need to request further documentation. The outcome for reported issues will not be disclosed, but please know the appropriate steps will be taken. Those paying their MLS fee to Greensboro Regional Realtor Association, if you have any questions regarding Triad MLS rules, compliance policy, or the fee schedule, please email compliance@grra.org. While those paying either the High Point Regional Association of Realtors or Winston-Salem Regional Association of Realtors, you may email your questions to compliance@triadmls.com.